Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Suffolk University information session. My name is Jennifer Finnegan. I'm a Senior Assistant Director of Admission here at Suffolk. I work with freshman students.
And hi, everyone. My name is Brian Denzak, and I'm an Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admissions here at Suffolk, and I also work with new freshman students as well.
So, Brian and I are here today to answer all of the questions you might possibly have about Suffolk, hopefully tell you a little bit about the school, who we are, what we do. But we imagine that you might have one big question that we'd like to get out of the way first. And that, we believe, is why Suffolk? Why should you choose Suffolk University? So before we get started with the reasons we think you should choose Suffolk, we thought you might like to hear from some of our students about their reasons why. So first of all, we have He's currently a senior, double majoring in history and theater. And for Colin, he was intrigued by the city aspect of our campus, but excited about the proximity of landmarks like the Common as well as the State House. Next up, we have Brianna's a senior studying sociology, and for her, besides being a giant Red Sox fan, she was really attracted to the opportunities for personal growth that being in the city would provide for her. And then finally, Matthew's a junior accounting major. After visiting campus and meeting members of the community, including accounting members, he knew that this would be the perfect place to begin his college career. So I imagine that you can see there's one common through line between all of these students, and that is Boston. Our location adds so much value to your academic and your social experience. But we're not the only school in the city, so what exactly makes Suffolk so different? Well, for one thing, we are the only school that is literally in the dead center of downtown Boston, steps away from the epicenter of culture, arts, entertainment, dining, sports, and real-world work experience. But at the same time, we're also a school where you can still get a true university experience. So,
So going into what we mean by a true university experience, for starters, we mean more than 70 undergraduate programs across two schools, the College of Art and Sciences, as well as the Sawyer Business School. We also have our law school as well for any students interested in pursuing a law degree after undergrad. We have just about 4,800 undergrad students, and about 1,000 students in our grad school and about 1,000 students in our law school as well. And what's great is that our students have access to interdisciplinary education, meaning that, say, you're a graphic design student in our College of Art and Sciences, but you really would like to take marketing classes in our Sawyer Business School. That's absolutely something you can do. We really want students to be able to take the classes that they need to enhance their skill set and to really prepare them for the careers that they want to pursue once they leave Suffolk.
We also have access to 19 Division III NCAA athletic programs, baseball, softball, track and field, soccer, and more. You can still be a student at an urban institution and pursue the athletic passions you have, many of them at our field over in East Boston. We also mean that you have access to streamlined paths to advanced degrees in our graduate schools that can save you time and money. You can get a head start on a master's degree and complete a Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science with a Master of Arts or a Master of Science in 5 or 6 years. Or you can try our 6-year law degree working with our law school faculty and advisors during your undergraduate program. We really want you to be thinking beyond just your chosen major or even just your first year as you begin your Suffolk University journey. It's your entire future, discovering everything that Suffolk and the city of Boston have to offer you.
And so our classes really go beyond the classroom. As we said, we're located right in downtown Boston. So there's so many opportunities for our students to get out into the city and to really work with real organizations and local businesses so that they can have that experience working with people directly in their chosen fields. And so some examples of that include our live journalism broadcast students will produce segments for NECN right within our own television studio. We'll have accounting students will staff tax prep clinics for our international students and faculty to help them with their tax returns. And then we'll also have our marketing students conduct real market research for local businesses and organizations within the city of Boston.
One of the biggest, sorry.
Go ahead.
All right, that's a place we'll need an edit. I think that was you.
Okay, I thought, yeah, that was me. Okay, so as you can see from the screen, there are plenty of really great organizations where our students have had internships at while they've been at Suffolk. And what's really key to point out about this is that all of these places are essentially our neighbors. They know Suffolk University, but they also, more importantly, know our Suffolk students. They know that when they get a Suffolk student as an intern, they're getting a student who's hardworking, who's organized, who's prepared, and who's going to show up on day one willing and able to make some sort of meaningful contribution to their organization. And so another really great thing about being in Boston is a lot of the times our students end up getting jobs just down the block, which means that there's tons of mentorship opportunities just down the block as well. A lot of our alumni will come back to our campus to meet and speak with our students and to let them know how life is going in the professional world and after Suffolk. So what's so great is that you have this amazing breadth of resources, and you won't have to sacrifice your identity. You won't vanish within a giant city population or within a giant institution. You won't languish at the back of a 300-seat lecture hall. You'll be in classes where your professor will know your name, they'll know your learning style, and ultimately they'll know what your goals and aspirations are for the future. And so it really is the best of all possible worlds. You have the resources of a university, all the opportunities that come with being in a city like Boston, and where you'll be a name, not a number. And that's a really unique situation to be in.
So, you know a little bit about what makes Suffolk University unique. The next question you might have is, okay, what else? What else is there to attending a university in the heart of downtown Boston? While, of course, your academics are the keystone of your education, it's not the only part of the college. There are so many other ways to get involved at Suffolk University that will expand your horizons and really help you work on those skills like communication, teamwork, leadership that are critical to your future success no matter where you end up. We have over 120 different clubs here on campus, almost exclusively student run. And these are just a tip of the iceberg, just to give you an idea of some of the activities here on campus. If you have an interest or otherwise, the chances are there's somebody else that does here too, and they're a part of a student group that will be here for you. It is one of the easiest ways to make new friends who share your interest and your passions. No matter what you're into, there's something in common here at Suffolk. Is known for community service involvement. It happen through classes, through our Center for Community Engagement, some of those student groups we just mentioned, or even on your own. If you're passionate about your ideas, we don't want to make you wait until you graduate to start making a difference. Opportunities that you won't find anywhere else, like the Journey Leadership Program, where students travel on team building experiences, not just throughout Boston, but to Washington, D.C., Florida, or even Barbados. Our alternative break programs travel all throughout the country, doing things like working for a week with Habitat for Humanity. And we feel so strongly about these experiences that they are provided at little to no cost to our students. All of these opportunities, from clubs to services to special activities, take advantage of the energy of the city around us. Wonderful about the city is that it provides the perfect backdrop for who our students are. Just as people come from all over the world to live in Suffolk, they also Just as people come to Boston from all over the world to live and work, the Suffolk community is also made up of people from all over the world, nearly 100 different countries, and from across the United States. In fact, Suffolk's international population represents nearly a quarter of our undergraduate enrollment, third highest percentage of international students of any university in the country. There are over a dozen cultural affinity organizations entirely student run, all offering welcoming spaces and promoting and sharing the unique qualities of what these students bring to our community. Our students of race, gender identity, sexual orientation, political persuasion, income level, nationality. It is truly a community that makes perfect sense in our multicultural international city that is Boston. It's a very natural fit and one that helps prepare our students for life in a world that is the same way, filled with different backgrounds, different perspectives, and ideas.
So at Suffolk University, we're also known for opening up the globe to our students. And probably the most significant way we do that is through our study abroad programs. And so we have a variety of different partnerships for students to choose from. And we also recognize that maybe the typical semester abroad doesn't fit into every student's schedule. So there are different options we have for the study abroad experience if that is something that a student is interested in. And so those different opportunities can look like studying abroad for a summer, doing a travel seminar, maybe one of those alternative and winter break programs that Jen mentioned earlier, by going to Barbados or Cambodia or something along those lines. So again, we recognize that maybe that typical semester doesn't work for everyone. So we want to have those opportunities available to our students to fit study abroad into their Suffolk experience if that is something they really are interested in. And so probably the most unique study abroad option that we have at Suffolk is that we have our very own Suffolk University in Madrid, Spain. So this students are able to study here for up to 2 years, with the exception of our international relations students who are able to spend all 4 years here if they would like. Classes are taught in English, but students are able to take Spanish classes as well. And there are plenty of opportunities to travel while they're there to really immerse themselves within the Spanish culture and make the most of their study abroad experience.
So, we've covered a lot of ground about what makes Suffolk unique, but in the end, what does that get you? Where do you go next after your Suffolk University education? Well, for one thing, you'll graduate in excellent shape to start a career or maybe continue your education if that's what your field requires. That is one of the main results of our focus on practical, real world learning, being well prepared for whatever comes next and whatever comes your way. Suffolk alumni are known for making their voices heard in government, in the business sectors, public service, media communications, and the arts. And they move on from the university with the maturity, the interpersonal skills, the real world experience to make immediate contributions to an organization, ready to hit the ground running wherever they end up. There's so much about the Suffolk experience that results in these outcomes: experiential learning, faculty mentorship. But one thing we have not yet talked about is our Center for Career Equity, Development, and Success.
And so our Center for Career Equity Development Success is a really important aspect of our Suffolk campus. They're the organization on campus that helps with helping students find internships. They're the ones who bring employers to our campus for job fairs and networking events. And they offer career counseling, so helping students locate those opportunities that are out there for them to help meet their goals and get them to where they want to be later on after they leave Suffolk. And they also provide resume and cover letter assistance, so looking over those important documents that are so important to the internship and job seeking process. And again, helping them with those job search tools so that they can find those opportunities within Boston or within the US as well that can help them with those opportunities to meet their goals. I'm going to repeat that slide if you don't mind, just for the editing. Because I just want to fix a couple of stuff I said. Okay, so like Jen mentioned, the Center for Career Equity and Development Success is a really important part of our Suffolk campus. They're the group on campus that organizes the job fairs and networking events, so bring employers to our campus. They help students with finding internships, so locating those opportunities that are out within the city of Boston to help them with their career goals. They offer career counseling, so helping students along figuring out what they need and how to further develop their careers moving forward. And again, helping them with resume and cover letter assistance. So really looking over those important documents that are needed within the internship and job seeking process. And so,
Employers, oh, sorry. Yep,
no,
that's an edit.
go.
We're going to start that over. That's Brian.
Okay,
Sorry, Brian.
no worries. So we've kind of mentioned this, but again, so many of these organizations in Boston are our neighbors and they know us. And the idea is that we really want students working with employers throughout their entire time at Suffolk. We want students being able to build their network throughout their 4 years. So whether they've had exposure to different organizations and companies within the classroom, whether it was a marketing student who worked with a client in a marketing class, or a graphic design student who worked with a client and someone came and saw work that they did at a showcase. We really want students throughout their 4 years meeting different employers, meeting people, and forming that network from the very beginning. So by the time they get to senior year, they have that foundation set in place and they feel ready to move forward and enter the workforce.
So, Suffolk University is an experience that will get you right into the middle of everything Boston has to offer, that won't make you wait, but at the same time is going to provide you opportunities to truly make a difference in the ways that are important to you. We've been doing this for well over a century, enabling students to make valuable contributions to the world, regardless of whatever their background may be, who they know, what they look like, and whatever their financial resources are. And we cannot wait to see what you're going to bring. So let's find out the next steps that you can take to get started at Suffolk University. We're going to talk a little bit about the application process now. Application deadlines are listed here for fall and spring admission. Now, at Suffolk, we do have a rolling application basis, so we will continue to look at applications even after these deadlines pass. Biggest part of our application process here at Suffolk is our holistic application review. That means that we are looking at all elements of the application as part of the decision process, not just your transcript or anything else. While some of these application components are certainly the most important, we truly are considering everything. Your activities and involvement, if you've had employment outside of school, what your kind of background looks like. We're considering truly everything. In terms of how you can apply and what that looks like, we're a common application school, but we do also have our own application. We look at both applications completely equally. It doesn't matter which one you choose to submit. They're considered exactly the same way. Now, by far and away, the most important part of the application is always going to be your transcript, the kinds of classes you've taken and how you've done from year to year to year. We certainly know that not everybody is a perfect straight A student for their entire academic career, and we understand that. That is where that holistic view comes into play. If we can see that you have made improvements throughout your academic career, have really taken steps to work on the things that maybe are not your strengths, that's something that we really do value as part of the application decision process. Now, for other application components, we are a test optional school. So that means we do not require standardized testing for any application, or any academic majors. We do not require standardized testing to be considered for the honors program. It is truly optional. If you have had the chance to take SAT or ACT and you are happy with what those scores look like, you think they're a great reflection of who you are as a student, by all means, go ahead and submit those, because anything that can help us learn more about who you are as a student is always going to be a great thing to add to your application. But if you have not had the opportunity to take standardized testing, or if you're just not sure that those scores really reflect who you are as a student, that's where test optional comes into play. Now, do know if you are an international student or if English is not your first language, we may still require some form of testing, perhaps an English proficiency exam, such as the TOEFL, the IELTS, a Duolingo exam, or you could submit an SAT or ACT that will satisfy that requirement. There may still be some requirements for you if English is not your first language or if you're coming from outside the United States. So definitely that's where checking the website comes into play to make sure you have all of the most up-to-date requirements. Now, when you are applying to Suffolk, you actually can choose, as we mentioned earlier, if you're applying directly to the Boston or the Madrid campus. We consider you for both campuses in your general admission, but you do have to pick one at the point of the application. And when you are applying, you are actually being considered for a lot of different things all at once. So not only are you being considered for just general admission into the university, you're actually being considered for the honors program at Suffolk University. There's absolutely nothing extra you need to do in order to be considered for honors at Suffolk. When you apply to Suffolk, you're being considered for honors at the exact same time. If you are invited to join the honors program, they're the top percentage of students at the university. You would actually find out in your decision letter at the same time that you find out you've been accepted. Another program you might be considered for at Suffolk University would be our SU Advantage program. This is our academic bridge program that serves students who need a bit of academic assistance as they transition into starting college from high school. So these are students that are meeting with our Academic Success Center and our academic coaches along the way as they start their freshman year. And so again, this is a program that while looking at your application throughout our review process, you might be admitted into. And finally, the most important thing besides general admission that many students are looking into, when you apply to Suffolk University, you are also being considered for merit-based scholarships at the exact same time. There is absolutely nothing additional that you need to do. When you apply to Suffolk, you're being considered for merit scholarships at the exact same time you're being considered for admission, and all merit scholarships are awarded in the decision letter at the same time you find out you've been accepted.
And so 89% of all students received financial aid last year, and all applicants are automatically considered for that merit-based aid, which Jen just mentioned. So just moving into some financial aid highlights. This slide here is just kind of some important dates to keep in mind. Deadlines for fall freshmen, March 1st, fall transfers, June 1st. Definitely keep an eye out on the FAFSA website because the FAFSA is required for all need-based consideration. And one also really helpful tool for students as well is the net price calculator, which you can find on the FAFSA website. And that's a great tool to help students figure out the loan process. And also, one thing to point out too is that just as every student has an admission counselor who's their kind of go-to resource during the admissions process, all students who are interested in Suffolk also have a financial aid counselor as well. And you can find out who that person is directly on our website under the financial services contact page. And that person is a great resource, again, for any financial aid questions you may have and to really kind of help you along that process. Because we recognize it is a really kind of difficult process and it can be confusing for some students. So we want to have as many resources in play to help students as they navigate this process. So with that, this does conclude the session for today. Jen and I really want to thank you for taking the time to check this out. And we really hope that we see you on campus this fall. We have many virtual and in-person options available for students to learn more about Suffolk and to check our campus out and to meet with current students. So we really hope that you take advantage of those different opportunities. And we, again, thank you so much for tuning in today.
Good luck with the rest of your upcoming school year, and please do not hesitate to reach out to our office with any kind of admission and college questions that you might have. Have a wonderful day.